This is the Synthetic Signal Report for Friday, April 3rd, 2026, in the afternoon. Today's report analyzes the critical infrastructure failure of Amazon Web Services availability zones in Bahrain and Dubai following military strikes in Iran. We examine the massive restructuring of H.264 streaming license fees, which have jumped to $4.5 million. This report also covers the technical shift toward SSH certificates for secure access and a Supreme Court ruling on conversion therapy that impacts state medical board authority. Finally, we look at the milestone of renewable energy reaching 50% of global electricity capacity and new research from the University of Florida on automated hardware security verification. The conflict in the Middle East has escalated into the digital physical layer. Amazon Web Services reports that multiple availability zones in Bahrain and Dubai are currently hard down. This follows a series of strikes within Iran that have disrupted regional connectivity and power infrastructure. Technical reports indicate that the physical data centers serving these regions are experiencing total loss of utility power and secondary backup failures. This is a direct hit to the cloud redundancy of the Middle East. High-traffic services relying on the Bahrain and Dubai regions are facing prolonged outages. Unlike a typical software-driven brownout, a hard-down status suggests that the physical hardware or the critical cooling and power systems have been compromised. Engineering teams are currently unable to access the sites for damage assessment due to the ongoing kinetic activity in the area. This event underscores the vulnerability of geographically concentrated cloud infrastructure in zones of geopolitical instability. Simultaneously, the United States Air Force has confirmed that an F-15E Strike Eagle was shot down over Iranian territory this morning. While one crew member has been rescued, search operations continue for the second. This marks the first confirmed downing of a United States fighter jet since the start of the current conflict. Tehran has released images of the wreckage, claiming its air defense systems successfully intercepted the aircraft during a sortie. The licensing landscape for the Internet's primary video codec has undergone a radical transformation. Via LA, the patent pool administrator for H.264 has restructured its streaming license fees. The annual cap, which previously sat at a flat $100,000, has been replaced by a tiered system that can reach $4.5 million. This is a staggering increase for high-volume streaming platforms and service providers. The new structure effectively penalizes large-scale distributors that rely on the H.264 and AVC standards for their video delivery backbones. Industry analysts suggest this move is a reaction to the failed adoption of H.265 licensing, which was criticized for being too complex and expensive. By squeezing the older, more popular codec, the patent pool is looking to extract maximum value from existing infrastructure. This change will likely force a more aggressive shift toward royalty-free alternatives like AV1 to avoid the millions in new annual overhead. A new technical consensus is forming around the use of SSH certificates as a superior alternative to traditional public key authentication. While standard public keys are permanent and difficult to rotate, certificates allow for short-lived, identity-based access. This framework uses a trusted certificate authority to sign user keys with a specific expiration time and defined permissions. By moving to a certificate-based model, organizations can eliminate the risk of orphan keys left on servers after an employee departs. The system integrates directly with identity providers, ensuring that an engineer only has access to a specific production server for the duration of a task. This update to infrastructure security reduces the manual burden of key management and provides a more granular audit trail of who accessed what system and when. It marks a shift from static, long-term credentials to dynamic, ephemeral trust. This is a signal from the future. Researchers at the University of Florida have published a new technical paper titled Assertine. This project uses large language models to automate the generation of security assertions for system-on-chip designs. This is an under-the-radar development because it addresses the primary bottleneck in hardware security, the manual creation of formal properties for verification. A certine allows developers to describe security requirements in natural language. The system then translates these descriptions into formal hardware properties that can be checked against the chip design. By automating this process, the research team demonstrated that they could identify critical hardware vulnerabilities that manual testing often misses. This represents a major step towards secure-by-design hardware, where the silicon itself is verified for security flaws before it ever reaches the foundry. In a related under-the-radar development, a study of 4 frontier models, including Llama 3.3 and GPT-4o Mini, has analyzed how artificial intelligence processes ethical instructions. After 600 multi-agent simulations, researchers found a significant gap in consistency. While models can follow minimal norms, their internal deliberation often diverges when instructions become complex. This suggests that simply giving a model ethical rules is not enough to guarantee safe behavior in autonomous workflows. The community is currently tracking a cluster of critical vulnerabilities in the Amazon Athena ODBC driver. The latest reports indicate that versions prior to 2.1.0.0 are susceptible to man-in-the-middle attacks due to improper certificate validation. Additionally, the driver contains an out-of-bounds write flaw that could allow threat actors to crash the system during query processing. Security chatter is also highlighting a major failure in the Garden Cloud API. Researchers discovered that storage credentials for user data are hard-coded in the mobile app and device firmware. This vulnerability allows authenticated users to pivot to other profiles simply by modifying the identification numbers in API calls. It is a fundamental breakdown of authentication security for the smart home platform. In the tool space, the Project Cabinet is gaining traction on GitHub. It is an AI-first knowledge base and startup operating system designed to automate document management and internal workflows. Finally, NASA has released the first stunning photos of Earth taken by the Artemis II crew as they travel toward the moon. The images provide high-resolution views of the planet from 100,000 miles away, marking a significant milestone for the first crewed lunar mission in over 50 years. This concludes the Synthetic Signal Report for Friday,